In the previous video, we have discussed about the cardinal utility analysis, which means when the utility is measured in terms of numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. So under that, we are going to study the most important law, the law of diminishing marginal utility. So before going to start up the theory, let me simply tell you the meaning of diminishing. The word diminishing here means reducing or decreases or decreasing. Marginal utility, already in the yesterday classes we have discussed about the difference between the total utility and the marginal utility. So marginal utility means it is an additional satisfaction derived by the consumer. That is a marginal utility. So now let me start up with the introduction of the theory, the law of diminishing marginal utility. When we go for certain scenic beauty, that is like tourist spots, again and again, what will happen to our eyes? Eyes become tired of beautiful pictures and sceneries. And when we listen to a certain music, what will happen when we listen again and again? Ears are deadened by the sweetest music in course of time. Even a thirsty person will stop drinking after consuming a certain glasses of water. Do you know why? And here is the answer. Because as the consumer goes on consuming more units of a particular commodity, it gives him a lesser satisfaction. Whatever the commodity you take, for example, you may like the chocolate very much, or you may like particular dry fruits or particular fruit. When you eat more and more of it, at the same time we feel bored of it. In the same way, here also the consumer finally reaches saturation level. Saturation means we feel satisfied. It means though human wants are unlimited, any particular want is satiable. That means it becomes saturated. Based on this character of human wants, economists have been formulated the law of diminishing marginal utility. And who's the economist who formulated for the first time? Means it is a German economist, H.H. Gaussen was the first to explain this law. So therefore this law is called as a Gaussen's first law. And later on, Professor Alfred Marshall have popularized it more, and it became very popular in the world. Now let us understand what is the definition have been given by Alfred Marshall of law of diminishing marginal utility. And the Alfred Marshall defines in this way: the additional benefit which a person derives from a given increase of a stock of a thing diminishes. So what does the meaning of this definition says is, when we consume any one particular commodity more, and that is more and more, that additional is nothing but more and more, what will happen to the stock which we have? Means that thing goes on diminishes. Diminishes means reducing or decreasing. Other things being equal. Other things being equal, already in the classes we have discussed about the 4 important assumptions of classical group of economists. In that I told you one of the assumption is ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus means other things being equal or other things remaining constant. Here all other commodities will become constant. Only in this theory we are going to use only a particular commodity, not all the commodity. So other things being equal with increase in the stock that he already has. So let me tell you in a simple way, This law simply tells us we obtain less and less utility from the successive units of a commodity as we consume more and more of it. So any particular commodity, when we consume, when we eat more and more, for example, I have a five-star chocolates. So when I give you the first chocolate, you will feel nice and you will enjoy it. When I give you the second chocolate, and when you eat that, you will feel the reduce in that taste. When you consume, when I give you a third chocolate, the third chocolate will give you still more lesser taste, but the chocolate taste remain constant, it remains same. But when you consume more and more of it, what will happen? Our satisfaction will go on reduces. That is the definition of this law. In order to understand this law, we need to study about the assumptions of the law. So here we have the assumptions. So here I've written nearly 6 assumptions. We'll go one by one. Number 1, uniform quality and size of the commodity. Uniform quality and size of the commodity means, so here we are taking an example of any one particular commodity. So that particular commodity, that quality and the size and color, shape, taste, everything remains uniform. Uniform means looking alike. For example, if I show you a Cadbury's chocolate, that is Cadbury's, that Cadbury color is same. For example, the wrapper of the color is purple color. The chocolate color inside that, it is brown in color. And the shape of it, it looks like square shape. And the shape, all the chocolate color will be the same. Color of the chocolate will be the same. The taste of the chocolate remains the same. So here number 1 assumption is the uniform quality and size of the commodity. That is the first assumption in this law. Number 2, suitable quantity of consumption. So suitable quantity of consumption means here we are going to take a medium size one. Medium size means, for example, here I'll keep you an example of apple. So apple is not too big and it is not too small. So suitable quantity means it should not be small like a green peas, or it should not be too big as a jackfruit. So apple is a apple, orange, these are the medium size fruit. So the quantity of the consumption, it should be suitable. Suitable quantity means it should be a medium size. For example, here I can tell you, for example, I'm giving a milk. That milk, it is not consumed in a spoon but glass of milk. That means spoon of milk is very less and glass of milk is quantity is suitable, that is medium sized. So suitable quantity of consumption. And number third assumption is consumption within the same time. Consumption within the same time means when you consume a particular commodity, there should not be any time gap or interval of time between the commodity. So suppose if I start now, for example 10 o'clock, I'm giving you one apple. After consuming that apple, immediately after eating that, I'm giving another commodity, another apple. After eating that, I'm giving another apple. So like that, what is the quantity is given, that particular quantity of apples I'm giving you continuously without any time gap. So in interval of time, I'm not giving any other some other commodity. For example, you had too much of apple, so let me drink water. No, water should not be consumed in between. So the consumption within the same timing. So that is the third assumptions of this law. Number 4, no change in the price of the commodity. As I told you, for example, Cadbury's 10 rupees. Cadbury's means whatever the commodity, how many Cadbury's you are going to eat, all the Cadbury prices should be 10 rupees. Suppose if you are buying it for a 48 rupees, all the chocolate price must be 48 rupees. Not one chocolate is a 2 rupees or a 5 rupees or 100 rupees or 200 rupees. There must be no change in the price of the commodity or its substitute. You are not going to have some other substitute for this good. So this law is based on the assumption that the commodity's price is not changes with the successive unit when you are consuming the same commodity. So there is no change at all. The price of the substitute is also kept at the same level. So next assumption is utility can be measured in cardinal numbers. Already we discussed about the cardinal numbers, cardinal utility analysis. Cardinal utility analysis means we are measuring our satisfaction in terms of numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4. Suppose if I eat Cadbury chocolate, I am getting 10 units of satisfaction. If I eat some mango chocolate, I am getting a satisfaction of 2 units. How is that? I am measuring in terms of numbers. So here, according to this law, we are going to measure our satisfaction in terms of numbers like 1, 2, 3 and 4 and so on. Next, then another assumption is consumer must be a rational. Consumer must be rational means rational is nothing but wise, buddhivanta. So consumer must be a rational. That means every consumer wants to maximize his satisfaction. So a consumer, one who knows which commodity to buy, what commodity to buy, how much to pay. If I pay so much, how I am going to get a maximum satisfaction, that will be fully known by a consumer. So such kind of a consumer is called as a rational consumer. So here the consumer must be a rational. So now this theory, what I told you, the definition which I have given, the additional benefit which a person derives means a person who gets from a given increase. Increasing is nothing but more and more of particular commodity. What happens? That becomes reduces or it diminishes, which is getting diminishing. Sorry for the interruption. So when we consume more and more of it, what the satisfaction we are getting, that satisfaction will go on decreases. So other things being equal, other things means here according to our assumptions, we are not going to use many commodities. Here we are going to use only one commodity. That commodity should be uniform, that commodity should be in a medium size, and the commodity should be consumed in the same time, and the commodity price should not be changed, and what is the satisfaction we are measuring, that should be measured in terms of numbers, and the consumer must be a rational consumer. So by keeping this law definition and by keeping these assumptions, we are going to explain this law with the help of a schedule and a diagram.